close your eyes for a moment and take a deep, slow breath. Imagine you are standing in the middle of a great storm. The wind is howling, the rain is cold, and the path ahead is hidden in shadows. We all have moments like this. We feel overwhelmed by our choices, tired of our responsibilities, and unsure if what we are doing even matters. But what if there was a way to walk through that storm with a heart that is completely still? What if you could act, work, and live with total clarity while remaining at peace? This is not a dream. It is a state of being, and it is the timeless promise of the Bhagavad Gita. Thousands of years ago, on a dusty battlefield, a great warrior named Arjuna was paralyzed by fear and confusion. He was a man of action, but he no longer knew why he should act. He turned to his guide and friend, Krishna, seeking a way out of his mental suffering. What Krishna shared with him in the 4th chapter of their conversation was not just a religious lesson. It was a masterclass on how to live in this world without being broken by it. Krishna speaks to Arjuna, but his voice reaches out across the centuries to you, the stressed professional, the tired student, and the seeker looking for a deeper purpose. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the person who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is the truly wise among men. He tells us that such a person is in a state of union, even while performing all sorts of tasks. This sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? How can there be stillness in movement? How can there be action in sitting still? To understand this, we have to look at how we usually live our lives. Most of us are constantly doing. We are checking boxes, answering emails, and rushing to the next appointment. But while our bodies are busy, our minds are even busier. We are worrying about what happened yesterday, or fearing what might happen tomorrow. Even when we sit down to rest, our minds are running a marathon. This is action without peace. Krishna invites us to flip this script. He teaches us the secret of the wisdom of action. He explains that true wisdom is not about running away to a cave or quitting your job to find peace. Peace is found right in the middle of the chaos. He tells us that when a person acts without being attached to the results, their actions become a form of worship, a form of meditation. When you do your work simply because it is the right thing to do, without constantly wondering, what will I get out of this? Or what if I fail? Your mind becomes quiet. The heavy burden of me and mine begins to lift. Think about a time when you were completely lost in something you love. Perhaps you were painting, or cooking a meal for someone you care about, or simply walking in nature. In those moments, you weren't thinking about your ego. You weren't worried about your reputation. You were just there, fully present. In that moment, you were practicing what Krishna describes. You were acting, but inside you were still. That is the balance of wisdom and action. In our modern lives, we are taught that we must be stressed to be productive. We believe that if we aren't anxious, we aren't working hard enough. But the Gita teaches us the opposite. Anxiety does not make you better at your job. It only clouds your judgment. Krishna explains that the fire of knowledge burns away the internal struggle. When you understand that you are not just your physical body or your social status, but a part of something much larger and more eternal, the pressure starts to fade. You realize that you are an instrument of a higher purpose. Imagine starting your workday not with a feeling of, I have to do this, but with a feeling of, I am here to serve. Whether you are a doctor healing a patient, an engineer building a bridge, or a parent making lunch for a child, see that action as a gift. When you offer your work to the universe, you no longer carry the weight of the outcome. If things go well, you are grateful. If things go poorly, you remain steady, knowing you did your best. This is the action in an action Krishna speaks of. Your hands are busy, but your soul is resting in the divine. This teaching is a cure for the fear that haunts so many of us. We are afraid of making mistakes. We are afraid of being judged. But wisdom tells us that the only thing truly under our control is our effort and our intention. The rest belongs to the flow of life. When you accept this, the knots in your chest begin to loosen. You stop fighting against the current and start swimming with it. You become like the sun, which shines not because it wants praise, but because it is its nature to shine. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Where is the friction? Where are you pushing too hard against things you cannot change? Where has your work become a source of pain instead of a source of joy? Krishna tells us that knowledge is the greatest purifier. By understanding that your true self is separate from the results of your work, you find a freedom that no boss, no bank account, and no critic can ever take away from you. You become the master of your own inner landscape. As you go through the rest of your day, try to carry this stillness with you. When you feel the stress rising, remember the warrior Arjuna on the battlefield. Remember that his strength did not come from his weapons, but from the clarity in his heart. You have that same strength within you. You do not need to change your life to find peace. You only need to change the way you look at your life. Every task is an opportunity to practice this balance. Every breath is a chance to come back to the center. The wisdom of the 4th chapter reminds us that the path of action and the path of knowledge are not two different roads. They are the same. To know the truth is to act with love and detachment. To act with love and detachment is to live the truth. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a soul expressing itself through action. Before you return to the world of noise, hold on to this one thought. Your peace is not found at the finish line. Your peace is found in the very first step, taken with a quiet mind and a pure heart. Let go of the need to control the world, and you will find that you are exactly where you need to be. As you move forward today, ask yourself this. If I knew that the outcome was already taken care of by the universe, how would I perform my work right now? Walk in peace. Act with wisdom. Be still within.